I'm Danny Epperson inside the scrumptious Commodore Dinner Theater in downtown Portsmouth. Thanks for joining me for WHRO's Cinema 15 and our presentation of 2009's Julie and Julia.
Bon appetit!
Bon appetit!
Bon appetit!
Bon appetit! We have a heaping bowl of delectable movie magic for you this week. 2009's Julie and Julia tells parallel true stories of two women connected by one book. The first story follows Julia Child arriving in France, learning to cook at Le Cordon Bleu, and writing Mastering the Art of French Cooking, her 1961 debut that changed American food culture forever. Meanwhile, in 2002, Julie Powell is a bored newlywed who gives herself 1 year to prepare all 524 recipes in Child's book and then blog about her progress. The movie folds two stories into each other like a savory French crepe, layering Julia competing with the best up-and-coming chefs in 1950s Paris with present-day Julie burning a beef bourguignon in her small apartment in Queens. The film stars Meryl Streep as Julia and Amy Adams as Julie. Writer and director Nora Ephron became famous for serving up sweet stories about people living parallel lives. But Julie and Julia is a different kind of love story. The movie screenplay is based on Julia Child's book, My Life in France, and Julie Powell's 2005 memoir, Julie and Julia. Ephron was passionate about the story and felt a personal connection because she was such a huge fan of Julia Child and learned how to cook from her book. Julie and Julia was a box office hit, but on a bittersweet note, it was Ephron's last film. The director passed away in 2012. Meryl Streep earned her 16th Oscar nomination for this film, but was blindsided by Sandra Bullock.
And the winner is Sandra Bullock in The Blind Side.
This is the first Academy Award and nomination for Sandra Bullock.
Julie and Julia was Meryl's 12th consecutive loss at the Academy Awards. I'll be back with some savory tidbits about Julia Child after the movie. But for now, hit the lights, unwrap another stick of butter for that popcorn, and then another. Let's get cooking with Julie and Julia. That was delicious. Well, even though she didn't win an Academy Award, Meryl Streep was praised for transforming herself into Julia Child. The actress gained as much as 15 pounds while filming the movie. While she perfected the distinctive voice and bubbly enthusiasm, there was one ingredient that Streep could not replicate. Julia Child was 6'2", so in order for the 5'6" Streep to look convincing, the crew had to use a few tricks. Set designers lowered countertops, Streep wore extra high heels, and filmmakers used lots of creative angles and edits to make the actress seem taller. When the real Julia Child debuted on TV in 1963, there was no editing.
Bon appetit!
Her show, The French Chef, included all of her spills, blunders, and sagging soufflés. The bloopers made her more relatable to the viewers at home and gave the show its charm.
Whew. That was a mistake.
The French Chef ran on PBS for 10 years. It won a Peabody Award and the first Emmy for an educational program. It was one of the original TV cooking shows, the most widely seen, and the most influential. But as it turns out, Julia did more for America than just inspire us to cook. Remember the Valentine's Day dinner scene in the movie? One of the guests asked Julia and her husband Paul if they were spies in the war.
I was only a file clerk.
They deny it, but in 2009, their World War II records were declassified, and it revealed that the couple worked for the Office of Strategic Services, known today as the CIA. Seems not only did Julia Child save us from gastronomic catastrophe, she may have also prevented us from eating nothing but Hitler's favorite foods. By the way, if you're ready for a culinary challenge like Julie Powell's, there are dozens of classic episodes of Julia Child's cooking shows on WHRO's Passport. That's all I have for this week. I'm Danny Epperson, and I'll see you next time for WHRO's Cinema 15 and another classic movie.